Alright guys, so I did a video about staking traps. Now I'm going to do a video about pulling stakes. This is a whole different aspect. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's a different aspect. It's something we want to be smart about as trappers, so you don't get injured, so you don't wrap yourself up in too much time out there. So pulling traps is a thing we all hate to do, but it's got to be done, especially pulling stakes. Okay, so let's start out with rebar. Okay, so I got a piece of rebar here. I'm not going to drive it in the ground because this is my backyard. And knowing my luck, I'd hit a gas line or something, probably blow up. Anyway, so this is the only stake puller I own. My dad owns one similar that's a bar, and it's a rounded U, and it's got like a double prong. And he says that works excellent for rebar stakes. I believe him because the concept is it'll hook into this, and it's got a big U, so you can imagine that pounded down on the ground. And you use leverage and you pull up, and once it gets about 8-10 inches up, it's an easy just pull out of the ground with your hand. So with that being said, what I use sometimes for rebar stakes, because I do use them from time to time, is I'll use my axe. I carry an axe a lot of times with me, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to drive it in the ground, but I'm going to show you the concept. So you've got your rebar stake in the ground. Let's say it's clear down here, and what you do is you stick the edge of your axe underneath whether it be the T-handle or the washer, and you stick it, actually you hook it this way, you hook it underneath that, and you pull, and it'll pull it out a few inches, right? And once you get that started, you're golden. You just grab and pull out. Okay, so if you carry an axe or something around like I do, that's how I use that to pull out rebar stakes. Works pretty well. I don't use a lot of rebar stakes, but I use some. So anyways, that's another method for rebar stakes. Those are the two I recommend for that. Now let's move over to earth anchors, and I didn't bring any with me, guys, but essentially an earth anchor, you have a washer or something like that down in the ground, you got your cable, and you got a loop up top. Okay, so if I were going to pull them as much as and spend more time in it, so I've got this one bought. It's a long one. I would probably buy the No BS one. It's got multiple hook points, I believe, and it's a little longer. Truth be told, it's going to be heavy regardless, because it needs to be heavy duty enough to pull the stakes out. Usually what I do, guys, is when I get out, I'm doing a lot of ditch trapping or even land trapping, you know, on private properties, and I have permission, so I will leave those disposable stakes for 2 years, and I'll run them for 2 years. I'll put a piece of tape on them that marks them so I can find them year to year. Key thing is to make sure that you pick a color that stands out to you. Yellow really stands out to me. Orange doesn't very much to me. You know, so pick something. You put a piece of tape on it, you can reuse it for 2 years. I'd say year 3, it's kind of sketchy. So remember, if you don't have to pull it, you can just reuse it if it's a location you're going to set year to year, right? So if you are going to pull it, like I said, this is the one I use. It works okay. You're going to hook into your loop that sticks just above ground. You'll hook into that, and so you can either pull it like this and use your foot, and I'll be wearing boots obviously at travel season, or you can hook it like that and lift up. Okay, and you're hooking into that loop, and you've got this hook that does that. And once it gets going, sometimes you can pull it easier. You can grab the trap, use the trap kind of like a handle, and pull up the rest of the way. Okay, now what I'm going to tell you guys, don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy pulling too many of these disposable stakes. I threw out my back 2 years ago so bad that I dropped the ground and had to crawl the frickin' truck and take ibuprofen, and I didn't know if my trapping season was done. It's just not worth it. You know, that's a cheap disposable stake. I'll pay the whatever it comes out to, 40 cents or whatever, year to year. I'll just keep making them, right? They're disposable stakes. They break up in the ground. They're gone in a few years anyways. But if you're going to do it on a professional level, I recommend using what the professionals use, and that's a winch on the front of a four-wheeler ATV, right? So you just hook on, hit the button, pull it out, but then again, you're wasting time sometimes. All right, so as far as pulling them out of the ground, I just grab them and I test them, and if I can pull them out easily, boom, I'll do it. If not, I'll mark it with tape if I'm going to reuse that mesh. You've got to take what I gave you here and use what works for you. The main thing, guys, be smart and don't injure your back. You do either, if you injure your back, your season's either done or you just spent thousands of dollars in back problems, or you ruined your whole trapping career trying to pull a 40-cent steak. Okay, so whether you use the rebar, it's pretty simple methods, right? When you get to earth anchors, either use this or the no BS one, which is bigger and has multiple hook points, or use the winch, or just do what I said and mark it, or let it go. You know, it'll break up in the ground. That's what the whole purpose of a disposable steak is for. Be smart, don't injure your back, and this is my methods for pulling steaks. It's pretty simple, but if this helps you guys out, that's fantastic. Please hit that thumbs up. I need to know if I need to keep doing videos like this. This is real talk from a real trapper, just to you guys. And anyways, appreciate you. See you on the next one.